Welcome back, folks, to part 2 of taking or moving logs. I don't remember exactly what I was calling this, but part 2 of easier ways to move around logs and deal with logs. So we are going to be starting to look at adding in Platinum Edition and some other mods. If you really like logging in FS22 and really want to get into logging, Platinum Edition is absolutely the way to go. You really should add it. It gives you so many bigger, better benefits. Mainly, it gives you the excavators here. Now, even if you don't want to spend the money on Platinum, you can set up excavators through DLC, or not DLC, through mods as well. This is the JCB, and this is the grapple log hook. And it is going to work the same. It's a lot smaller, as you can see. These are the bigger excavator, which is much bigger, much heavier, a little bit easier to move stuff around with. And the controls do work a little bit better in the Giants excavators than in the DL or modded ones. I don't know why, but they just do. So this is going to be the grapple log fork. Grapple fork? I don't remember what exactly it's called, but this is the grapple setup. And it does swing around a lot, but I mean, you can see it. It makes it really easy to be able to rotate and place things exactly where you want them. And especially if you go above like this and kind of treat it almost like a claw game, you can kind of get them exactly into position wherever you want to. And it's just kind of a matter of playing around and trying to make sure you're picking them up the way you want to and make sure you're putting them where you want to. So excavators are a very, very good way to go. But it's kind of the same thing. You're going to end up doing logs like 1 or 2 at a time, which is not that big of a deal. I mean, it takes longer. I can do it. I do it fairly often. I've been doing it like crazy on that Silver Run series that I'm doing. But sometimes I really want to run things faster, especially in FS22. It gets to the point where it kind of turns into work. Now, there is the fixed log hook here as well, but it's kind of the same thing. You don't really, this is the quick detach one, I'm sorry, not fixed, it's quick detach. And it's so small that it's not like you're really going to be getting that many more logs into it. And honestly, I hardly ever use this one because, again, you can see it's not quite the right angle for doing this. And you can't get that big of a load or anything either. Like, you're still doing it 1, 2 at a time. So now we're going to kind of take a look at what I typically do as opposed to this sort of thing. So let's see here. We're going to do it like this. I do similar to the fence thing I showed you before, but we're going to use a different mod to do it. So we're going to go back to decorations, and this one is under other. And we've got a couple options. We've either got the concrete dividers like these right here, which do work very well. Or we've also got, if I can find it, I think I went too far. I think it started me past them. No. Come on, where are you? There we go. We've got these concrete walls. Now, you got to take a look at them. There are 2 different sizes. I prefer doing the smaller one, so that's the larger one. And then if we come over this way, we've got a smaller one. I prefer the smaller one because the big one to me is just too big for a lot of the equipment. And I do it flat-sided. If you want to, you can do it so that you've got that little hump inside, which will help if you're using log forks to pick stuff up. And if you've got a ton, some of the big log forks do work really well. But we're not going to do that. We're going to instead do this. We're going to do 1, 2, We're actually going to do a bunch of them, and we're going to take out the ones we don't need, because since they go down individually, unlike the fences, it's a bit easier to do that. And we're going to go ahead and do 2 wide, I think, this time. And we just make a big bunker all the way around it here. And one of the really nice things about doing it this way, since it is all individual pieces like this, it makes it really easy to then just go in and say, okay, we're going to take out that one, and maybe we'll even leave the other side because we're just going to come at it from this side. And we're going to use part of the CSV pack, which is one of my favorite mod packs. And this is the big bag handler. And it is wonderful. And I cannot begin to really explain that. It is phenomenal. There is nothing better than the big bag handler when it comes to moving around logs. Because we are just going to push right up to them here. Then we're going to hold R1 and click on our right stick to put on the straps, and I mean, that is wonderful. It does get really goofy and hinky sometimes. Like, don't believe that it's going to be perfect grab like it just was every single time. Like, it's the straps. Straps get weird. They get very weird sometimes in this game. But we are going to load this little thing up. And the other thing is the big bag handler now does have different sizes. So it'll have different... Yeah, that was a really weird grab there. It has different sizes as to how far down it'll grab. We're gonna go right about there. So sometimes you might want it bigger or smaller depending on the equipment you're using. If you have it as a lower size, it'll grab less, meaning it's easier for light equipment to pick it up. We're just gonna get rid of that piece because of the branch that's stuck in there. And if it's doing just fine and you can pick up a larger load, you can do one of the bigger pieces. That's too heavy to pick up. We're gonna grab this one and just slide it in. All right. So now we've got all of that and it's all discombobulated in there. But we're gonna come and grab right over here. This is levelers on it. I meant to show it on the last video and I kind of forgot. I brought it over here instead. You can also use the dozer blade that's in the CSV pack. It works very well too. I had just gotten this so that one, we had 2 different widths, and 2, because I was going to use it with the little fence thing I did in the last video and just kind of forgot about it. But we're going to just slam everything in. Oh, maybe the levelers don't work. I swear I've done it with levelers before. There we go. Slam it all in square. I've got like one log that for whatever reason is not moving here. So what I'm going to do, because I don't feel like trying to pull out that one piece, just so that we keep everything nice and straight and even, is we're just going to cut this one log if it'll let me. Come on. Alright, maybe that log is just very weirdly glitched up. So, anyways, now that everything's all squared up in there, or at least as squared as you can get it, I mean, I could really play around with pulling out that one log. I just don't feel like it. But we're going to come over, and we're going to grab that stack and pull it straight up. And you have a perfect squared off stack of logs that are moving very easily. This Volvo front loader is from the Platinum DLC as well, if you don't know. And the only reason I grabbed it is the heaviest wheel loader that you can get. So now though, we can come over and again, knock our trailer over. Let's see if I can get this lined up well without. There we go, more or less. Not perfect simply because of those two logs at the front that were not quite into the right spot for me to drop it right there, but again, you get the idea. It makes it much easier to move around the logs, having the straps on it instead of dealing with the log forks, and having a very big, heavy piece of equipment. Now, the other thing you can do if you have the Platinum DLC, you can sell through containers instead. So we're going to come over here, we're going to open these doors, and this one is set up for 6-meter logs, which is what I've been doing, because unless you're doing platinum trees, 6-meter logs will get you the absolute best price per tree. If you don't believe that, go check out my video about everything you need to know about logs in FS22. But these containers are kind of like an auto-load trailer that works on all platforms. And that one was a little bit short, which is where it's warning us that, look, you loaded the wrong size log. But really, that's not that big a deal. Like, you do lose some money. If you're doing this, what you can do is you can harvest a tree and you can start throwing them into there, and when you get to the top of the end, you just move it a little bit and shoot it somewhere else, and I'll show you that in 1 second. But I mean, all you have to do with this is you grab your logs, and we're going to come right over by the end here, and it should take them right on my straps. If not, we just drop out of the straps, and you see it just fills the trailer with the logs, which means you only have to deal with loading them or with moving them to the extent that you want to, because as soon as they're into the trailer, they're gone, or into the container. So let me grab our harvester here real fast, and I'm going to cut one down one tree and show you how we fill that from the harvester. So we're going to spin around and grab one of these big spruce trees. And because the way I planted these trees, they are really tight and I have to pull it straight out. Let's see if I can get around my excavators here without falling over. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Be a good treat. Be a good treat. Come on. All right. So now that we are over to our container, there we go. Now we can just come right up to the container here. There we go. And cut right into the container. That's not how that was supposed to work. So I guess you got to stay back a little bit. I'm going to do that one more time. If you haven't noticed, I don't normally do this. I don't really use the containers all that much. They are there. They are doable. I find the other stuff easy enough to do and to move the logs around on the trailers that I just do the logs on the trailers. But let's grab one more, because I know this works. And I have done it before. Come on, go to your home. Thank you. All right, pull out. There we go. So this time we are going to stay right to about where our 6-meter point will be, away from that container. Come on. There we go. And a little bit closer. Oh, come on. All right, well, that is not as easy as I remember it to be. But same thing, all we got to do, even if it's not wanting to go in, is we come over and just kind of push them in or pick them up and put them in. And it does mean you have a lot less moving to do with logs. I mean, I should probably redo this and do it over and over again until I get it right to where it is actually loading into the trailer. But to be honest with you, I'm not that worried about this method. I think everybody understands here what the goal is, even if I can't manage to do it. Now, the only thing to keep in mind with the trailers is you cannot sell them at all the same standard spots. So if we get this out of the way, if you are not playing on a platinum map and you're playing on a normal base game map or another mod map, you are going to have to put down some sort of sell point that will take them. There's quite a few of them now. This is the sell everything, and you can see we drive right over and it sells it. So just keep that in mind. If you do the containers, you can't sell them everywhere you can sell your normal logs at, just because, I mean, because FS22, I guess, right? So that'll kind of lead us to one little hint towards the next video here. The other thing you can do with these sell everything points is you can just drop your logs on them and sell them directly through the sell anything. And I'm going to show you a few other methods that let you do stuff like that in the next video. So thank you very, very much for watching. Have a fantastic day and happy gaming.